The equipment needed in this experiment is a conical flask, a clamp stand, a burette clamp, a burette, a pipette, a white towel, containers with oxalic acid and sodium hydroxide, and phenolphthalein. Please watch the previous video with the basic acid-base titration to learn more about the chemistry and also the safety precautions that should be taken into consideration. We are going to make our own solution using oxalic acid powder. To create the solution, we need oxalic acid powder, distilled water, a volumetric flask, a spatula, a weighing boat, and scales. To create the solution, we need to weigh around 1.5 grams of the powder on the scale. Then, using the weighing boat, we put the powder into a volumetric flask and add distilled water to dissolve the powder into a solution by swirling the flask around. Once it is completely dissolved, we then add more water up to the line. When measuring the water, you can see the meniscus lies on the line. The final step of creating the solution is to cap it and tilt it upside down multiple times. After finishing creating the solution, we can now start with the titration setup. To begin, you want to open the valve of the burette. You then want to rinse the burette and flush out all the water into a beaker. After carefully flushing the water through the burette, you then want to pour the titrant, which in this case is the base sodium hydroxide, through the burette and flush it through by opening the valve. Then you want to use your pipette to withdraw some of the analyte up to the line and then release it into the conical flask. When releasing the solution into the conical flask, you want to carefully dab the tip of the pipette onto the surface to ensure that there is no remaining liquid in the pipette. Once you have got your analyte in the conical flask and the titrant in the burette, making sure you have marked the volume, you can then add the phenolphthalein to the analyte. And make sure to swirl the conical flask around multiple times. To begin the titration, you want to open the valve, and at first you can let the titrant, which is the sodium hydroxide, pour normally, whilst also swirling the conical flask around gently. As the very weak pink colour slowly gets stronger, you then want to slow the flow of the titrant down and just use drops to add it to the conical flask. Once the solution is completely pink after being swirled around multiple times, you can close the valve so that no more sodium hydroxide is added to the conical flask.